Good morning, and first things first, since it's a Tuesday, good morning, Connor. So yesterday was the most jam-packed day that we've had so far. We got up so much. Unfortunately though, that was the one day that I left my memory card in my computer. Luckily everyone else has taken a few photos, so we can have a look at that. We got up in the morning and we departed for the legendary Johnson Space Centre. We got there about 9 o'clock. The first thing we went to visit was a neutral buoyancy lab, which is a 23 million litre swimming pool, essentially. It's about 250 feet long and about 190 feet wide. It's used to sort of simulate microgravity, so that people can get a feel of what it's like to be outside the spaceship. Obviously they have to don the whole EVA suit, and then they practice over and over again for months, sometimes years, simple tasks like replacing pieces on the International Space Station, checking valves, turning switches, because it has to be perfect. It was really odd to see, for the fact it's just the sheer size of it. In the pool there was only a section of the International Space Station, and it gave us a chance to see the real scale of the whole thing. We went back and went around the visitor centre for a bit and saw some of the stuff in the shops, which I'm going to pick up today. Then we went out on a tram tour, and the amount of stuff that we saw was phenomenal. We actually got director's badges because it's a level 9 tour, and so we got to go places that the general public couldn't. But we sat behind the glass looking at, while people were running a mock simulation of a shuttle program in the shuttle mission control. Then we went and sat and watched the people who were working on the International Space Station mission control, which was actually live as we were doing it. They were actually working on what is going on at that point. Then we went into the more historic of the control rooms where the Apollo missions were ran from, and it was amazing. We were sitting, and the gentleman who was taking us around turned and pointed and said, "Over there is where the first words from the moon were heard." That's where George Abbey was sitting when he got that message. One small step for a man, one giant leap for mankind. It was amazing we got to see something which was such, a pinnacle of the whole space program. Then we got to go to the mission evaluation room, which is where basically they assess anything that can be assessed, anything that goes wrong. And we got to have a conversation with Bill MacArthur, one of the gentlemen that we've met back at the summer school in Strathclyde, and it was really great to see him again, but also slightly strange, because although you see him when we're over in Scotland, it's one thing, but to see him back here in NASA, in where he works, was just absolutely amazing. We got to ask him a few questions as well. It was weird because I asked him about if he ever had any sort of fear when he was up there, and he said there's no fear, there's more excitement. I assume it's because he knows everything's so well thought through, everything's meticulously planned down to the very last detail, everything's ran over and over and over again until they know that they're going to get it right. Then we got to go to the Space Vehicle mock-up facility. Basically, it's a giant warehouse, and they have life-size mock-ups of parts of the International Space Station. Obviously, anything that wasn't in the pool is in that building, and then they had a life-size mock-up of an actual shuttle that's used for training simulations. We weren't allowed to go in because obviously the shuttle, and that is going up, I think it's now due for the 30th of November, and so it's so near to training time, they couldn't afford to let people into the actual mock-ups, but we could have a look about inside them and stuff, and it was phenomenal. Then we went along and saw one of the few remaining Saturn V rockets. There was a giant warehouse, and on the outside of the warehouse, they actually drawn the rocket, and you look at it and you go, it's not that big. You step inside, and it's phenomenal the way it grabs you, just the sheer size of it. And then there's the great irony that even though with all that size of the rocket, there's only a small capsule, no bigger than this room, to house 3 people for 2 weeks while they're on a lunar mission. It was truly breathtaking to go to this facility and see the actual work that the people are doing. I think it's brilliant that we could see how everything works and how it all comes together, and how much planning goes into every single little finite detail, and the sheer awe of sitting in the Apollo mission room where there was such history, such epic things happened there. Then we came back and we went out for a steak night at Boondoggle. It was a very odd steakhouse, but it was good to get out and we could sit and chat about what we've done during the day and what grab them. So anyways, today we've got a slightly slower, more subdued day to sort of counteract the serious activeness of yesterday. We're going to the Visitor Centre at Johnson Space Centre. We can pop back into the shop, we can have a look around there. And then we're going out to a mall to do some proper American style shopping. I'm basically intending on buying a couple of Texas hats and some boots, just because I can. Anyways, also another side note, we're having a competition here to try and see who can Photoshop a picture of one of the guys here, Corin, into the most random situation.
Basically, this is the picture, and we're going to try and see what we can do with it. You'll see the results in the next few days.
And anyways, that's me. I have got to go because I still have to get this video edited. Apologies if it's a bit shorter than normal. Well, I've only got about half an hour before we have to go out, so I will see you later.